Hello students, today we'll discuss one more point, signal integrity. So now we have discussed about the IC technologies. There are various types of ICs we have discussed them. SSI, LSI, MSI, up to VLSI, then ASICs we have discussed them, PLDs we have discussed, FPGAs we have discussed them. Various types of PCB designing we have discussed, IC packages we have discussed it. Now one more point we need to discuss about that, that is, so we will come across noise, okay, and what are the factors affecting the noise, then how to minimize that noise, that we are going to discuss into this point, that is signal integrity. Okay, in real time required to change logic levels, that is, we can say it is a transition time. Okay, and the propagation time, it is time required to move the signal from the source to destination. In practice, there are a number of complicating factors. Okay, a signal propagates from the source to the destination, that is, from the source driver, bound wires, package, lead frames, then pin of that IC, then PCB trace. Okay, again from the PCB trace to receiver IC pin, then lead, then bound wires and the receiving wires. Okay, so how the signal flows, that is from source to the destination, that is from IC, then bound wires, then pins of that IC, then PCB trace, then again receiver side you will get again the reverse way, that is pins, then bond wires and then IC. So in this way you will get the time required to propagate the signal. Okay, along with this path, signal causes distortion and introduce noise. Okay, along this path, signal causes distortion and noise. Okay, the signal integrity is the minimize this effect, minimize the noise effect. Okay, the signal integrity refers to the degree to which these effects are minimized. Signal integrity refers to the degree to which these effects are minimized. Particularly, we have to take a responsibility for the signal integrity in ASIC design. Okay, also we have to consider the effect of PCB on the signal integrity. Okay, particularly in case of ASIC design, we have to think about we have to more cautious about the signal integrity, and then also we have to see what is the effect of the PCB design. Okay, in common PCB material, maximum propagation speed is approximately half of the speed of light in vacuum. Okay, in PCB trace, propagation time is approximately half of the speed of light, and that is equal to 150 mm per nanosecond. 150 mm per nanosecond. Okay, if there are two traces of different length, then it will introduce clock skew, that is, signal will take different time to reach at the destination. Signal will take different times in the two different tracks are there. One track is a long distance and one track is a short distance. In such a case, the time required to reach the signal will be different, and it will cause clock skew and it will produce distortion. So what we have to take, or how to minimize this, so that is, we have to careful for the PCB design needed. In this case, the length must be equal. Okay, must be same for the two tracks. So this can be achieved by using CAD design tools. Okay, for the PCB design. For PCB design tools, for PCB designing, we have to use CAD design tools. Okay, then first parameter in case of signal integrity, or what is the cause of the noise or distortion. It is the first parameter. This is a major parameter, that is a ground bounce. One of the major signal integrity issue in the PCB design is the ground bounce. When one or more output driver switch the logic levels, when one or more output drivers switch the logic levels between high to low or low to high. During switching, both the transistors are on. Then transient current flows from the VCC to ground. Okay, the transient current flows from the VCC to ground. Okay, this causes voltage spikes on both VCC side and ground side, as it has a inductance on both sides as shown in figure. Now you can see here figure. So there is a inductance on the VCC side and there is inductance on the ground side. So this is inductance caused by the bound wire, leads and the PCB track inductance. Okay, so this is either side, it is on VCC side and it is on ground side. Okay, when these two transistors on at a time, so there will be sudden current flows from VCC to ground, and hence it will cause voltage spikes on this VCC side and voltage spikes on the ground side. Due to the voltage spike, there is a transient switching occurs on the driver side or receiver side IC. Okay, what is the effect is going to be occur? Due to the voltage spike, it will cause false triggering on the receiver side ICs. Okay, this effect will be more when the multiple driver switches concurrently on. When the multiple driver switches concurrently on, that is when parallel bus charges. Okay, then transient current will flow in great or more transient current flow at that time. Okay, then how to minimize this effect? How to minimize the ground bounce? Okay, we have to minimize the ground bounce, place a bypass capacitor on VC side and ground side on the PCB. Okay, so first remedy to minimize ground bounce, that is we have to place bypass capacitor between ground and VCC. Okay, and that capacitance is about the 0.1 microfarad or 0.01 microfarad value. Okay, and it has to place near to the IC. Separate PCB layer, another remedy, that is separate PCB layer for the ground and VCC, that is as shown in figure here. Separate layer is used. Okay, so this is separate layer for power supply, this is separate layer for ground plane. Ground plane is there, this will be the ground plane, and this is power supply plane. Okay, so that is separate planes for ground and VCC, so that will minimize the ground bounce effect. Okay, then limit the rate of voltage change, that is slew rate, which limits the driver current of the output drivers, in turn reduces the inductance effect. Okay, limit the voltage change, that is slew rate, which limits the driver current of the output drivers, in turn reduces the inductance effect. In modern component, there is a selection of slew rate also, and it will limit the driving current. So limiting slew rate, it may increase propagation delay, though the circuit which reduces in clock frequency. Okay, as the propagation delay increases, it will decrease the frequency, and there should be a trade-off against the slew rate and propagation delay. There is a trade-off between the slew rate and propagation delay. Okay, so here you can see here the slew rate increases, then automatically frequency will increase. So this is high slew rate and this is slow rate slew rate. The time required to change the logic levels, that is from 0 to high, here it is, or high to 0. So that is slew rate, and if it increases, the propagation time increases, so it will decrease the frequency, and there should be a trade-off. So depending upon the requirement, we have to select either one. Okay, so the next effect. Okay, so transmission line effect. So this is the another signal integrity issue. Transmission line effect is the another signal integrity issue. For high slew rate signal, slew rate signals, there is a noise due to transmission line effect. There is a noise due to the transmission line effect. The transmission line effect occurs when rise time is comparable to the path delay. It occurs when rise time is comparable to path delay. That is when time for transition between the logic level is shorter than the propagation delay. It causes a reflection at driving and receiving end of the paths, that is on PCB paths. Okay, it causes reflection at the driving as well as the receiving end of the paths of the PCB. For full analysis, we should know the characteristic impedance of the PCB path, source impedance of driver, termination impedance of the receiver. Okay, what the parameters we should know? We should know the characteristic impedance of the path. Okay, we should know input impedance of the driver, we should know the termination impedance of the receiver. Depending upon these values, signal may suffer from overshoot, undershoot and ringing. Okay, so depending upon the characteristic impedance of the path as well as receiver input impedance and receiver termination impedance, so it will cause overshoot, undershoot and ringing effect. Okay, this can cause or false triggering. When, so again, the situation is more complex when one or more receivers will be on, that is multiple receivers on at a time. So PCB layout, another issue, that is in case of PCB layouts. So PCB layout design, that is we can say PCB layout artifacts, for example wires or branching, termination of the PCB track also will add into this effect. Okay, so transmission line effect is added due to the PCB design also. Okay, this will cause false and multiple switching. Then how to minimize this effect? Okay, use PCB layout design techniques. To minimize this effect. Then what are the PCB layout design techniques we have to use? So there should be a proper layout design in branching, in termination path. Okay, there should be a proper design for branching, for terminate the path. Okay, path should be run parallelly with proper distance. Okay, there the path should have controlled characteristic impedance. The path should have controlled characteristic impedance. Okay, these effects will be minimized when run the path over one plane with creating microstrip transmission lines. Okay, so we have to create microstrip transmission lines. Okay, this effect will be minimized when they run the path over one plane with creating microstrip transmission lines. Okay, for the critical paths where more receivers are there, the receiving receivers must be grouped together at the receiving end. So another point is there, if there are multiple receivers are there and the receivers are coming in, it is not separate at the end of the termination path, but they will be connected to differently. So this issue will be minimized by connecting all the receivers, they are grouped at the end of the termination path. Okay, then next finally include proper characteristic impedance at the trace to match the impedance. Okay, we have to match the characteristic impedance, otherwise it will cause a reflection. So to match the characteristic impedance, we have to include proper characteristic impedance at the trace to match the impedance. Okay, in modern technique or in modern design tools, like FPGAs, there is a facility to add this characteristic impedance, or you can say it is a termination impedance on the IC, or on the track side we can add this characteristic impedance. Okay, so that's all about. You can see here in the figure what is the ringing, what is the undershoot. Okay, overshoot, undershoot, and this is called as a ringing effect. Okay, so this effect will cause false triggering. This effect is causes false triggering. Because of this spike, it may turn on another transistor. So to minimize this effect, we have to take this care. So we have to take proper PCB layouts. Okay, appropriate layout design we have to use, then control characteristic of that path we have to take. Okay, then microstrip lines we have to make onto that tracks will be there. Okay, so you can add the characteristic impedance along with them. The next issue is that electromagnetic interference. So one more point is that electromagnetic interference, how is going to be occur? That is, switching between the logic levels causes electromagnetic fields to propagate around the PCB trace. So transition causes the electromagnetic field. It will cause the electromagnetic fields. Okay. So some of the fields radiates energy causing noise on the other electronic system. So this energy radiated from the PCB, it will cause noise to the other neighboring systems. Okay, electromagnetic interference it is called as. So subject to regulations, that is, there are government and other regulations that limits the amount of electromagnetic interference. Okay, so that we have to take care about the electromagnetic noise EMI. It should be in limit, and that will be given, that rules and regulations will be given by the government regulatory body or other regulatory bodies. Okay, then one more issue is that the crosstalk is there. So there may radiation occurs between the aggressor PCB trace and adjacent trace. Okay, when the path, when the trace are a closer and parallel paths are there. Long distance paths are there, the paths are parallel paths and it is for running for long time, long distance, and there will be crosstalk occurs between the aggressor PCB layout and victim trace. Okay, so there will be crosstalk is going to be occur in the parallel paths. This effect, okay, this effect can be minimized. So radiation occurs between the two adjacent paths. Okay, this effect can be minimized by routing such a trace, such a paths we have to route close to the ground and VCC plane. Okay, we have to this trace close to the ground and power supply trace to minimize the electromagnetic interference and to minimize the crosstalk. Okay, this effect can be minimized by routing such a trace close to the ground and VCC plane. Also, by minimizing slew rate can reduce the radiated energy and hence it will reduce the electromagnetic interference and crosstalk. Okay, so one more point we need to discuss in this regard, that is the differential signaling. So we have seen various techniques, or we have discussed various techniques to improve signal integrity. That is, we have to decrease the noise and system will be more, the system should have more immunity towards the noise. Okay, so this is another technique to maintain the signal integrity. Differential signaling is the another technique to maintain signal integrity. This reduces system susceptibility to the interference. Okay, this reduces system susceptibility to the noise. Okay, so here we are going to transmit the signal. So actually we are going to transmit the one signal. Okay, but instead of sending the signal information, that is bit S, we have to transmit both the positive signal, the signal SP, and its negation is SN. SP and SN are the two signals we have to send. One is the SP is the original signal and it's inverted, that is negation, we have to send, and at the receiver we have to sense the difference between these two signals. We have to sense the difference between these two signals, that is we'll get the SP minus SN. Okay, so you can see here the signal is S and its original signal is the positive signal is SP and its negative signal or inverted signal is SN, and these both signals are transmitted from the transmitter to the receiver, source to the destination. At the receiving end, so we have to sense SP minus SN, SP minus SN. Okay, now suppose the noise is added with the both SP and SN. Okay, so you can see here SP plus noise is added, SN plus noise. So along with this wire noise is added, along with this wire noise is added. Now noise is common with both the signals. Okay, and then common mode noise is automatically eliminated out when we are going to take the difference of this. So SP plus noise minus SN plus noise, so you will get the noise will be automatically cancelled out. Okay, so in this way you will get whatever the noise will be added, common noise will be cancelled out. So that this also removes the crosstalk effect. It also removes the crosstalk effect, and the crosstalk effect will be the cancelled out. What are the advantages? What are the advantage of this technique or differential signaling technique? So advantage of this technique is the common mode noise are cancelled out. Okay, it will reduce voltage swing which need for the noise margin. It will reduce the voltage swing and it will require in noise margins. Okay, it also reduces the switching current in case of ground bounce. So it also reduces the switching currents, also it reduces the ground bounce. It reduces electromagnetic interference and it reduces the crosstalk effect. It reduces the ground bounce, it reduces the crosstalk effect. Okay, differential signaling is approach. It will be very beneficial in case of high speed designs. So differential signaling approach is very beneficial in case of high speed design. This is about the differential signaling. Okay, and I think we have completed this topic. In this topic we have seen various points, that is exponential growth in the IC designing and manufacturing techniques. Okay, so we have seen right from the SSI technology, MSI technologies, that is the TTL technology. Also we have seen about the CMOS technologies. Then we have introduced about the LSI, then VLSI we have discussed. Then we have discussed about the ASICs. In case of ASICs, we have discussed about the full custom ASIC and then standard cell ASICs. Okay, after that we have discussed about the programmable array logics. Okay, and then we have discussed about the complex programmable logic devices, CPLDs. Okay, and then we have discussed about the field programmable gate arrays and platform FPGAs and structured ASICs. Okay, also we have covered the points, that is IC packaging and different types of PCBs. Okay, so we have discussed about the through-hole PCB, surface mount PCB, then multi-chip models we have discussed, and the last point today we have discussed is the signal integrity. Okay, so that's all about this model number 3. So today we'll stop here.